Namaste, friends. I'm going to talk a bit about rhythm, and then, of course, we're going to perform. To me, rhythm is the essence of life. Just think about it for a second. What is the most basic thing that tells us that a person is alive? It's the heartbeat. It's the pulse. So if your heartbeat is amiss, if your pulse is amiss, the doctor says you're sick. Rhythm is not just within the body, it's without. If you look around you, everything is set to rhythmic cycles. And Indian rhythm in particular is a cyclic concept as opposed to a linear concept. We have 24 hours, which is a day. That's a 24-hour cycle. We have 7 days in a week. We have 365 days in a year. So the cosmos actually moves in rhythmic cycles. Everything all around us is set to rhythm. Even Halley's Comet comes back every 75 years or so. For me, born into a rhythmic family, my father being a great percussionist, a great tabla player, I had the rare opportunity of playing with a lot of musicians and understanding that rhythm is not just what you play, the way you interact, etc. It's much more than that. It's a philosophy of life in so many ways. Before I go into the philosophy, I'd like to first tell you about how tabla and the rhythms in tabla are defined by a sense of onomatopoeia, which means the sound echoes the sense. Everything that we play is an imitation of what we say and vice versa. So if I were to say na, this is how it's played. So na sounds like na. If I were to say ghe, ghe tu na kena, tere kita, kita, etc. So that's how the entire philosophy or the sahitya or the literature of tabla is formed, through onomatopic words which echo the sense. One of the things that is really interesting about how rhythm moves into spaces around us, interpersonal relations, for example. Imagine you've gone to a mall and you meet your friend Suraj. You say, "Hi Suraj, what are you doing here? Wow, so nice to bump into you here." And Suraj says to you, "Oh, Bikram, it's nice to meet you. I'm having a great time here. It's good to meet you in the mall. Thank you." There's something a little amiss about what he says, right? What is amiss is actually that he speaks without accent and modulation. Rhythm has many components, and accent and modulation are very, very important intrinsic ideas in rhythm. So if Suraj were to say instead, "Hey Bikram, it's so good to see you and it's fantastic to be here. This is a wonderful mall and I'm having a great time." So that is actually communicating in the right way. So the entirety of human communication is actually based on rhythm. If you get the rhythm right, you've got the relationship right. There's another very important factor which rhythm drives, and is driven by in turn as well, and that is tempo. Imagine you're standing on one side of the road and you see a man crossing, and suddenly there's a car coming in full speed from the other side. And you want to shout out and say, "Watch out, there's a car coming." Instead, you say, "Watch out, there's a car." That was a gross error in tempo judgment. If a person is proposing to a lovely lady and wishes to say, "Mary Ann, I love you so much, I'd like to marry you," that's fine. That might actually get her to say yes. But if he says, Mariana, I love you, I'd rather marry you. That's a mistaken tempo judgment once again, and he's probably going to get refused. So human relationships are totally dependent on rhythm. What has fascinated me over the years, because I had the lovely opportunity of studying literature as well, is that so much of literature that we know of is actually steeped in rhythm. I discovered something very interesting between Shakespeare and the tabla traditions many years back, and I'm going to share that with you. The entirety of Shakespeare's plays were all written in iambic pentameter. Pentameter is sections of 5. So, for example, methinks I am a prophet new inspired, and thus expiring do foretell of him. His rash fear's blaze of riot cannot last. Everything is in 5. And it's I am, and an I am is an unstress first and a stress after. Similarly, in the tabla idiom, you have something called anaghat jhaptal. Jhaptal is a cycle of 10 beats, and anaghat is when the stress is before the beat. So it goes gena dagena datita gena dagena datita gena tuna gena dagena datita gena dagena datita gena dagena datita gena dagena datita gena tuna gena dagena datita gena dagena datita gena dina gena. So iambic pentameter is correlated to Indian rhythm, and this must have been happening over years. Look at the Romantics. Keats and Shelley, they wrote in trochaic tetrameter, which is absolutely to the T, Teen Tal, which many of you know, of course, the most famous tal in our Indian classical system. Season of mists and mellow fruitfulness, close bosom friend of the maturing sun. Da then the na da then the na na then the na then the na da. So it's totally correlated. Everything around us, and it's good news, trust me, is connected to rhythm. We are connected to each other through rhythm. We are connected to the cosmos through rhythm. Everything is rhythm. From that note, I'm going to move into the instrument and a little bit of what we do and some fun things we do with what we have in terms of the rhythmic language. Friends, we have a full-blown language of rhythm in India. Whatever we play on the tablas or any other instrument can be spoken. And sometimes we drummers actually speak amongst ourselves without using a real language. To give you a demonstration, first I'm going to welcome the wonderful drummer, one of the best in India, from Bangalore, Mr. Arun Kumar. I'd like to ask you, you've been to Mumbai many times. What do you think about the traffic in Mumbai? And please don't use any language.
How do you like this audience today?
This audience?
Yeah.
Oh, this audience is absolutely dhina dhagena dhaga dhina gena dha. See, we don't need a language. In fact, it's better because language brings in agenda, and if it's just rhythm, there's no agenda. It's great. Before we jam, I'd like to tell you that all of the jam that we're going to be doing and that we do for years and years now is completely improvised and on the spot. That's what's so special about Indian music. We improvise on the spot. First, we'll start with some konakol, with some language drumming, and then we go to the drum. So, tatak din 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 tagin tatak din 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 tadin dinak tak din dagin tak din tak tak da tak da tak da
tatak din 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 tadi kedak tatak din 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 tadi tak di pe tak jodo tak di pe tak jodo da tadi
nadik
tak ding
dinak tak din da tak da
tatak din tak di pe tak da
dadak dak da
tatak da
didik tak di
duduk tuk tuk
dik tak di
tatak tak
tak Takinakada.
Tatakita takata.
Tatida.
Takata.
Tididi.
Tatada.
Tututu.
Tatada.
Na na na.
Na na na.
Tetete.
Tadada.
Tat.
Ti.
Tetete.
Tadada.
Kirdikida.
Na na na.
Tada.
Tata.
Didi.
Didi.
Keke.
Tata.
Nana.
Tom tom.
Dut.
Nam nam.
Dede.
Tata.
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 Keke.
Didi.
Ta.
Ta.
Ti.
Ti.
Ke.
Ta.
Na.
Tu.
Tu.
Ta.
Ti.
Di.
Ke.
Na.
Tu.
Ti.
Di.
Ta.
Ta.
Ti.
Ki.
Oh.
Tu.
Ti.
Ta.
Ta.
Ti.
Ti.
Ke.
Ta.
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 Ta. Ti. 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 Ta. 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 Du. 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 Ta. Tang. Ding. Ta. Ding. Ta. Ding. Tang. Ding. Ta. Ding. Tang. Ding. Ta. Ding. Tang. Ding. Ta. Ding. Ta. 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 Ta.